Hello, everyone, and welcome to NFT Tuesdays. I'm Mary from Venezuela and also from the community of Binance Spanish. And today I will be sharing this awesome webinar with my friend from France. Hey, David. You're muted. David, we cannot hear you. He's all over the world.
Yes, sorry, I'm coming with delay, French delay. Bonjour, Marie-Andrelle, how are you?
Very good. Bonjour, ça va? What time is there in France?
Actually, it's 8. It's the time to dine, and tonight we're going to dine spiritually with the NFT Tuesday because we're going to speak from an artist and a creator's point of view, as well as a curator one. So we're going to present a lot of artists and curators around this theme of NFT Tuesday. First, to begin with, and to show you the program of today, we're going to have a fireside chat with Krista Kim, and it's going to be led by Elena Zavelev. So Krista Kim is a digital activist that is the founder of Techism, and Elena Zavelev is also working on and is the CEO of the New Art Academy. And then we're going to follow to a panel together, Marie-Andrelle and I, with Colborne Bell, Ogle, Nicole Ruggiero, and Qinwen Wang. Both are the four of them are either from an artist perspective or a curator's perspective. So we're going to have the pleasure to interrogate them about all these NFT waves. I lead you the speak, Anna, Marie-Andrelle.
Yeah, and also to everyone who's watching us, remember that you can be also part of the conversation if you use our hashtag on Twitter, which is NFT Tuesdays. Send your questions, send your comments, and we are reading all of them. And also, when you participate and you get involved with our program, you can also win. So today we are announcing the winner of last week, which is the owner of this email that you see right there. Congratulations, because you won a Cambia digital art frame that is worth nearly $500, which is amazing. I remember getting my first NFT a few years ago, and it was sold by around $5,000. Who says maybe in a couple years the owner will say, hey, I won an NFT at NFT Thursdays and I'm selling it for millions. So if you didn't win, you also have the opportunity to participate for next week's giveaway. We are choosing 50 winners, and all you need to do is follow the next steps. If you're watching this but you are not registered on Eventbrite event, you won't be participating. So be fast and use the QR code to go to the Eventbrite event, do the registration, and now you are participating. That's all you need to do, and you could be the winner of one of the rare 50 NFTs that we are giving away next week. So go there, register, and watch this event next week to see if you won.
I think you said it all about this. So right now and next is the fireside chat between Krista and Elena. We're going to speak a lot about Art Academy and also about the movement of NFT together with that. I lead you the speech, Krista and Elena now.
Hello. Hi, Krista. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So happy to be here.
Super happy to be here. So I don't know if you hear an echo or you don't hear an echo. Everything is good on your side?
Yeah, you very well.
Perfect. So it's a pleasure to be here today with Binance and Krista. So my name is Elena Zavelev. I am the founder of New Art Academy, initially, which is an educational resource for artists and collectors, everything about art and tech. But primarily right now, we run the art fair for crypto and digital art called CADAF. Super excited about that. It's a great opportunity for artists and galleries working in crypto and digital art to show their works. The next edition is going to be in June, so check out cadaf.art for more details. But it's a huge pleasure to be here today with Krista, who is an amazing artist working with digital art, NFTs, and so on. So we're going to discover everything about her practice. One of the very interesting parts about it is social impact, and very curious to hear about that. But maybe we should start with how it all started. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your practice. How did you get into the digital art? And then going further in more details.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Elena, for that wonderful intro. I am a digital artist, but I used to paint. and I was an abstract expressionist painter. So I loved to express my emotions and, what was in my spirit on canvas. And the thing is that when I was using the iPhone back in 2012, I was new to the iPhone, but then I kind of can tell that the digital technology was actually affecting the way that I was associating with people through social media platforms. And I could see that it wasn't exactly healthy for us psychologically and even socially. Because yes, we were connected more than ever. And, there's more connectivity as, around the world, but the human connection was being lost and being compromised. So I knew that going forward that there would be some kind of a psychological and sociological impact that would be negative, because billions of people around the world experiencing the same thing as me is on an individual level causes a social impact, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was doing my Master's of Fine Art degree in 2012, I began to explore digital medium and how the digital medium affects us as a society. And I was really into Marshall McLuhan. The medium is the message. Understanding how the medium actually not only affects how we communicate, but our culture and our psychology and our interactions as human beings. And overall, it affects everything, right? How we communicate, right?
Absolutely.
So knowing that, I could see that the digital landscape was very distracting and it was very addictive. And a lot of these apps were actually developed to addict us. The eyes are real estate in the tech industry. That means the more eyes, the better for the tech industry. They make more money, taking our data and taking our time. Facebook wants you to be logged on Facebook 24/7 if they could, right? Distracting you, keep giving you, impulses to keep getting likes and all of these addictive behaviors. For me as a meditator, I found that meditation and understanding the complex, mechanisms of the prefrontal cortex of the brain that helps you with impulse control, that helps you with discipline, that actually keeps you from always checking your phone all the time. This is actually the brain and how it is formed and developed. And meditation is the one way that we can actually strengthen the prefrontal cortex of our brain in order to prevent the digital devices from hacking us, hacking our lives, right? So that we have control of our own lives. And knowing this, I thought, well, why don't I create the art that is meditative in the digital realm in order to introduce these concepts of meditation and mindfulness and healing? Because we do need to heal. There's a lot of distraction. So, I started to create art basically that expresses, meditativeness, healing through the screen. And the screen is transformed from a mechanism that is usually used to give us information and also exploit us and exploit our data and sell it to third parties. Instead of using it as that kind of a mechanism, I want to use it to heal us. Because light is actually a source of nourishment and it affects us physiologically. When we see color and light, it is changing our brain state. It could make us calmer. It could make us more energized, depending on the light frequencies. So really my practice has begun to really create, unique, sublime experiences using the screen. And so it's like a digital Zen experience.
It's amazing that you say that, because I'm not sure if a lot of people actually realize how meditative the digital art can be. I don't know if you want to expand on it. Does it depend on the size, on what you are surrounded with, or you can sort of fall into meditative space when you're looking on the screen of your computer at an artwork as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, for me, it's like every time I created an artwork, it's actually soothing for me because I actually went through, depression and anxiety. Many people go through, traumatic points in their lives. And so for me, it was like creating art and meditation. The art actually became therapeutic, and looking at it made me actually feel good. So I know that I have a finished work of art when it brings me inner peace, when it actually helps me feel healing and good inside. Because I know that if it makes me feel good, then it must make others feel good too. And I want to share that.
Understand. All right. Sounds great. Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of your most recent projects, maybe?
Yeah. So Mars House was the project that a lot of people refer to nowadays,
Yeah.
because it was, so recent, and it's the first NFT digital home that was sold in the world. And so the concept behind that was during the height of the pandemic. Okay, it was like last April. I was, everyone was in lockdown, and it was a pretty interesting time, very surreal. And I thought, I want to create my own dream home. And I want to create a home that integrates my meditative art, and therefore it becomes a healing home. The home heal, right, with art. So I created these plans. I created Mars House. It took about a month to create during the COVID crisis. And I basically wanted to introduce my meditative design concepts. And then after that was done, it was December when I started to learn about Bitcoin and Ethereum for my own personal investments. And then when I discovered decentralization, blockchain, the benefits, I then Googled blockchain art. And then I was like, oh, I discovered NFTs. And then I discovered Switchere. And so immediately I signed up for Switchere, like on the spot. And I was whitelisted for February intake of just this past February. So I minted my first work in February. And from that experience, I saw, wow, like I could actually already foresee where NFTs could go as an art medium. But I just saw that it was, still in its nascency, because you have a 2D screen where you upload your file. It could be a video, picture, and that's that, right? But I see the NFT future in 3D digital programmable NFT assets that we experience in augmented reality. So I started thinking, wow, I mean, I want Mars House to be in my space now, and I could actually see that in the very near future. We'll have that reality. And I knew that because I had a meeting with Rish Latlikar, who is the CEO of Superworld. Superworld is an interface of XR based on the real world. So you can upload 3D digital assets and experience them in our real world. Okay, so we can actually upload Mars House in this space right now and experience it. So that's coming very soon. And Apple's coming out with, AR glasses next year. So we're going to live an AR lifestyle very soon. And so Mars House became that harbinger of the next generation of NFT digital 3D programmable assets.
All right. I mean, you said a lot. So, I mean, for those who haven't seen Mars House maybe firsthand, do you want to tell us a little bit about it, what's inside it? And then for those who want to go to see it on Switchere, what can they find there? And then, of course, Superworld. I'm already looking forward to meeting them.
Superworld, yes, absolutely.
That's an amazing project, but yeah.
So Mars House, basically, I was really influenced by Kyoto and Zen architecture, right? So I wanted to create architecture that expresses, digital Zen, right? So I wanted screens, and I thought, I'm looking at my walls. I said, why can't my wall be an LED wall so I could show my art? So then I was like, okay, let's create this. So I basically created the ceiling and the floor of walls of Mars House as screens that play my healing art installation with meditative sound music, right? Because it's so important to have the visual and the audio experience, right? And the olfactory too. It's great to have the smell, the whole senses. But I mean, the visual of the screen and on the ceiling and the floor is unique. And the house itself is very minimalist. I love minimalist, architecture. So basically, it's a villa. Retreat in a secluded place, no curtains, all glass. Well, it's a place where you could spend 3 days, 4 nights and just meditate, connect, and it's a meditative retreat, I would say.
Amazing. And what's available on Switchere? How does the NFT look there?
Well, you can basically just go to Switchere and look up Krista Kim. It's very simple.
So that's what we should do.
And you'll, Mars House, the video is up like in so many media outlets now. You could just, find it anywhere on Google. But yes. By the way, I actually will be posting Mars House on Spatial very soon. So we will actually be able to have visitors in Mars House, and I will have artist talks in Mars House in VR. So that's coming very soon.
That sounds amazing. I know that we already probably have a few questions from the audience, but when I was looking at the Twitter feed, I think there were quite a few artists there who were going to ask some questions. So as an artist, do you have any suggestions if someone wants to start working with NFTs, who's already working with digital art or not? What would we say?
Well, I would say really understand, all of the different platforms, do your research in the market, choose the right platform that sort of like speaks to you and where you feel that you fit, with the other artists as a sort of a community.
Mm-hmm.
And I would start producing, I would start creating. When you create an NFT, it has to be 50 megabytes maximum. It has to be a video or a still image. And I would say produce your best work and mint your best work and get it out there and promote yourself on Twitter. Twitter is great to always engage with the community. Instagram, of course, is also important. But I would start. And if you really think that you need some assistance, you could even do collaborations, right? Do a wonderful collaboration with another artist and see, experiment and learn how to do it. But I would just jump into it. I mean, I think that now is the time to really do it. If you feel that you really want to do it, now is the time.
I agree. And I've seen so many artists working, both who are already working in digital art or who are working in more traditional art and now starting to explore the NFT space very, very successfully. And I think there is a collector for pretty much anybody. So shall we try one of the questions that we have? I don't know. Do you see the questions, Krista? Or
yeah, sure.
Maybe I don't know.
You want to read it, or?
Maybe we can start one cool question. How difficult was the transition from oil painting to digital art? Do you have any particular courses that you would recommend?
Oh, wow. It was difficult because I didn't know what I was doing. And when I was in the program, it was mostly painters and sculptors that were my cohort, very classically trained, institution. So I really was just learning on my own. Like I literally had to do tutorials online. There's so much resources now online. If you want to learn a program, learn Blender, learn Unity, know your Adobe suite, just get a pen and get your Procreate on an iPad. I always draw on Procreate on my iPad constantly. I'm always doing all kinds of sketches and plans. So, and if you actually need, like if you're a painter and you want to, digitize your paintings, you could do that too. There's no restriction of how you should, just because you don't actually work with the computer to create your art, it doesn't mean you can't create an NFT out of the painting, right? You could be creative and you can actually still do that. And there are many artists who do that. Ferocious still does that. He paints, he does physical paintings and offers them in NFTs. So really it's up to your creative ingenuity to come up with something original.
Yeah, I've also come across some artists who include both digital and physical pieces as a part of their NFT. So that's fun as well. And
I'm going to introduce that too. The last sculpture in Mars House, I'm actually creating in Murano, Italy. With master glass blowers artisans, and they actually work with Ai Weiwei. It's Barengo Studio. They're amazing. So we're actually going to create the beautiful glass furniture pieces from the Mars House and offer them as NFTs.
Sounds amazing. So there are so many opportunities for the artists these days. It's quite amazing.
Exactly.
So the next question is, how do I get attention with tangible art among millions of digital works?
No, that's always a very good question.
Always a good question.
How do I get attention? Well,
yeah.
Here's the thing. I think that you really have to reach out to the influencers. Reach out. Many people in the NFT space are very social and very open and supportive of one another. I would reach out to different Clubhouse chat moderators. I would reach out to Twitter, NFT influencers, and also on Instagram. Tell them about your work and create a dialogue, start forging, communication and relationships with the people in the space who will support you when you do your launch.
Yeah, absolutely. Please tell us more about how to create a market for your NFTs. I want to start selling, but I don't know how to make it known.
How do you make? Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yes. So how to create a market, pretty much. It's again, I guess, the question of marketing and getting attention to the project as a part of it.
It really depends on the idea. The idea always sells itself. If it's an artwork that really has a compelling narrative and a good idea, then very minimal marketing effort has to be put into it. Good ideas, they, whether it's art or anything else, they spread quickly if it's good. So I would try to really focus on creating work that's, it just depends on the artist. There's all kinds of art out there, right? But I would just create the best work that you can create and get it out there. Get on Twitter, communicate, create a community, create allies and friends, and the support group.
Exactly. But in general, I mean, we can say that for the digital art world, for the digital art market, the past few months especially, but past several years have been quite amazing. We've seen so much going on. I don't know, Christy, if you want to say a couple of words about your sort of predictions or thoughts about the digital art market, what you think will happen in the future.
So basically, we are going to have a strong art market this year until the cryptocurrency bear market sets into place, right? We have a bit of time, and it's going to continue, but really we're going to go into the augmented reality 3D asset space, right? So right now you have a lot of talented 3D creators, but not everyone needs to be an artist per se. You could create compelling collectibles and little things that people would love to buy because it makes their heart sing. Okay, so for example, on Superworld is going to have their NFT salon soon. Within 6 months, this 3D minting platform is going to create a major shift because you can create anything that people will buy. For example, children's parties. You're going to have dinosaurs coming out of birthday cakes and balloons and fireworks party sets, these kinds of assets. Like, there are going to be all kinds of digital assets that people will want to buy to enrich the experience of their real lives. So you will see a huge explosion in creativity in the 3D digital asset space. That's my prediction.
I think that's really, really interesting because people are still wondering what will happen after pandemic is over. Is digital art still going to be a focus, or it's going to switch a little bit? But we are very positive about it continues developing. All right. So what happens with the physical art if it's not being sold? So I guess if a physical piece is a part of your NFT, what happens? It just stays with you, or?
Oh, goodness. Usually, if you actually, state that a digital NFT is attached to a physical piece, then the collector would receive both.
Exactly.
But you can also offer the choice, But if that's the case, then you could never, I would say you're holding it in escrow. I would not sell it because you want to make sure that you have integrity of rarity and actually documenting and having a ledger of what you sell, and make sure there's no, crossed lines there, because that can get messy later and it's not good. So make sure you document and have everything. If it's paired, make sure it's paired and it stays that way. If you want to give a collector the choice of the painting, why not paint it after they confirm, right? So you're not stuck with overstock. Right?
No, I think it's a great idea. It's a great idea. But I think for collectors, it's really fun to receive physical pieces along with the digital pieces. Sometimes
you will be surprised, Elena. So many people are saying, "But what's the point? Like, it's such a headache to store art. It's expensive to ship, expensive to keep, expensive to insure." I mean, there's a lot of things, that I don't think of. As an artist, I don't think about all of these aspects of the collector's reasonings of only choosing digital, but they're out there now, and we will reach a shift where people are going to actually value digital more than physical. That's my prediction. I think there's going to be a day where people are going to say, "Wow, I want the digital more than the physical." There will be something like this.
I mean, I agree with you. I think it also depends on the crowd. I remember when we were selling CryptoPunks at the first edition of Gaddafi in New York.
Wow.
And that was really a very interesting experience, but it was already in 2000. It was in the beginning of 2019. And so there were prints of the CryptoPunks along with the digital pieces. And collectors were quite happy to receive their little punks, and it was very, sweet in this way, how this was exhibited. But I think that the further we're getting into the digital realm, the more collectors are interested in entirely digital pieces.
Yeah, especially Gen Z when they start collecting art also. Like that's going to be an interesting shift in taste. Yeah.
All right. Do we want to take another question from the audience? There is a question about NFTs. If I'm not sure, Chris, again, if you're familiar with that, but if it's a viable option for actresses and actors to earn royalties for their acting work.
Yes. Okay. You were muffled there when you held your microphone, my dear. Yeah, you sounded like a robot. So cool. Okay.
That's funny.
Yes, very good question. I believe that every art form can actually use an NFT to monetize. And I think that we're in such an early space right now. Everybody has to understand that right now the engineers are thinking of all the use cases that creatives need to actually execute all of our needs, no matter what we do. So if you're an actor, if you're, of course, in the music industry, in graphic design, anything, there will be NFTs that will eventually be used as contractual or creative sales mechanisms. In all fields. Now, this is coming, and it's still early. So I would keep an eye out for it. I would actually be engaged with communities that want it and contribute to the ideas that engineers need to develop these platforms.
Actually, I think this is an excellent point because, creators and engineers, they're sometimes live in separate worlds and they don't know what each of them, can provide or needs. So
Not anymore. Not anymore. This is the essence of techism, my art movement. We need artists at the forefront of technology in order to make the technology more humane.
Yeah.
So I encourage all artists to go out there and make friends with tech companies, engineers, communicate, voice your opinions, voice your needs, because that will create actual change in the technology.
True, and the digital art market is so much open, if I may say, than your traditional art market. So artists have so much more opportunities there. People actually want to speak to you and want you to participate in the talks and the panel discussions and so on.
Absolutely.
All right. So I think we went over the predictions. We went over different interesting things. Krista, any final idea that you want to share with the audience?
I believe that there is a real wonderful opportunity for artists to change the world in a positive way through NFTs. And I'll explain why. Never before in history have we actually had the opportunity to involve ourselves in a marketplace where we have direct access to the buyer's eyes. The collectors have a direct relationship with the artist. And so that basically, it eliminates a lot of the intermediary market. And I'm not saying that we don't need curators. What I'm saying is it presents a completely new paradigm whereby the collectors can invest in ideas and social initiatives that are created by artists. So, for example, the Mars House, the majority of the sales from Mars House goes to the Continuum Foundation, which supports worldwide tour of meditative sound and light healing installations. Now, I'm starting the tour in Toronto and in August 20th to 22nd, Venice in September 14th to 15th, and then in December, the first week of December, I'll be in Miami for Miami Basel and beyond. So this kind of an initiative that brings healing and community together would never have been possible if it weren't for the NFT. So every artist out there, whatever social initiative you are passionate, it could be about wildlife, it could be about refugee children, anything, you can actually support it through the NFT. And with every resale of the NFT, it is then financing those efforts again. So imagine how many millions of artists in the world can do the same thing, right? So think about that. And I think that this is going to be a wonderful change for the world.
Absolutely. I can only double that. And I think so many opportunities for everyone and for global change for the best. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Krista. It's been amazing to be talking to you. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, I enjoyed our chat too. Thank you so much, Elena.
All right. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much to our guests for all the information that you share with us.
Yeah, so much energy, and thank you, Krista and Elena, for the practical example of Mars houses, which has been sold for $500,000 recently. So bravo, Krista, for this. We're gonna now animate the panel. So we wanted to have two different points of view, either the artist, but also the collector, this persona of user. So today we're gonna welcome Colborne Bell, the founder of the Museum of Crypto Art. Ogle, a BSc collector and founder of BSc Gems, Nicole Ruggiero, which is a 3D artist and which does some NFT, and Qinwen Wang, the producer of the world's first major NFT exhibition, and which also lead a training on Christie's for NFTs. So really happy to see you all.
Welcome, guys. And if you're watching us, don't forget to send your questions on Twitter because we are interacting there.
Yes, don't forget with the hashtag NFT Tuesday. You can also put some thumbs up inside the video if you like it, and if you want the NFT to spread. So guys, just before we do a show, I wanted just I introduce you with just a simple presentation, but can you introduce you all each other in 1 or 2 sentences?
Okay, we can start in order. For example, the first that I have right here is Qingwen.
Hi, thank you for having me here. So I'm greeting from Shanghai, China. As you can see, it's very late. So my name is Qingwen. I'm the producer of the world's first major NFT exhibition, Virtual Niche, back to late March, held in Beijing UCCA. Is the world's first institution museum to host for the NFT art. So in the exhibition, we have some very iconic collections of our crypto art history, including Beeple's work and also Robert Ellis' Portrait of Mine, and also the programmable art, Fred Supper from Async Art. And right now, I'm also leading the Christie NFT course, Mandarin course. So will be launched next week in Hong Kong and also in mainland China. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Nicole, your turn.
Hey everyone, my name's Nicole Ruggiero. I'm a 3D artist. I've been doing 3D art since I think 2015, so 6 years now. Been doing art for ever though. A lot of my work has to do with social communication through technology and the internet. The internet was a really big thing in my life, and I feel like it's how I form most of my connections throughout my entire life. Like meeting people online through different subculture groups, whatever, internet forums, stuff like that. And I've done that forever, and I think it's such a really cool and important tool that helps a lot of people. And so I've chose to really focus on those kinds of ideas and concepts in my work.
Thanks a lot. Ogle, your turn.
Hi. Yeah, I'm Ogle. I founded BSc Gems, which is essentially a community of people mostly on Telegram that it just focuses on Binance Smart Chain in general. And so one sub component of that, of course, is NFTs. And so we're big supporters of NFTs. There are a lot of huge collectors. Some of probably I think probably the biggest collectors and the smallest collectors all started off in BSc Gems, sort of worked their way outward. I'm personally a big collector, not just of art NFTs, but also of utility NFTs. So things that are useful for practical purposes, for example, contracts, or for access to things on the internet, VIP memberships, things like that, which are a whole different sort of area of NFTs that aren't really discussed a lot. Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Hi, everyone. My name is Colborne Bell, founder of the Museum of Crypto Art. The Museum of Crypto Art really, it aims to create immersive digital experiences that, I guess, deepen and tell the stories of artists and their NFTs. We have kind of a twofold focus at this point. It's really on, the preservation of the history and the truth of how this space, came about and developed, and also as kind of an innovation lab to bring together artists, collectors to put forth new and creative ideas.
And welcome to your cat as well. That is on your lap.
The chief curator.
Yeah, he is the boss. But you're living in his house. Just to have an extensive view and to begin this panel, I will begin it with a very simple question. From your opinion, how will this NFT trend and the NFT in particular will revolutionize the art world and maybe the world? As you say, Dougal, there is much like utility NFTs that you can find some source. So I wanted to have either all your point of view on that.
So if I would take okay, so everyone knows that blockchain is for to eliminate the intermediary. So I would say it's the first time since the Renaissance artists enjoying such privilege by creating their own art and also directly dealing with their fans instead of going through the gallery system, instead of going through the traditional artwork system. And that is one of the major things crypto art and also NFT is enabled. And the second thing is, besides art, it's about the data, the creativity, and the data ownership. So music and also film and also video can also become a new form of art. So when we do the exhibition, people are not just seeing like the 2D form of the art, but crypto art can comprise of video and also motion and also music that create a new form of experiences. So that's my 2 points.
Yeah, I think that from the point of view of a collector, it's really nice because I can view a lot of different stuff very quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if I want to see like sort of an up and coming artist, I need to go find like an art school, or I need to go just to go to Shanghai and go to Jing'an and walk around and find like people just doing some stuff around the streets. It's really hard to actually do that. It's expensive actually to do that, to go and explore and find new art versus on this digital artwork that you can have provable ownership, provable provenance, where it came from. So you can have all the really nice things that you get with like actually working directly with an artist, but you can do it more in mass, which is good, of course, for the artist because then they can get their name out there if they're actually good and a little bit good at marketing. And it's good for the collector because I can see a lot more cool things and decide how I want to build my my collection.
Okay. I think the same way that cryptocurrency built a financial architecture in parallel to the traditional financial system, NFTs are like the ground force that is building a parallel art world architecture. And in this architecture, we have so much flexibility and ability to experiment and to redefine something that has been very grounded and stuck in traditional norms. So, one, it's beginning to like capture the idea of social capital and arts on the internet that was always very, fleeting, ephemeral. Things would pass in fads and memes. And it gives a context for ownership of that art, that data. It symbolizes that connection and, also direct access to artists. I could have never been able to walk into, a traditional art gallery in Chelsea, New York City, and purchase something off the wall. But here, I can relate to a piece, I can connect with the artist, I can go very deep with them. And at a time when, social connection was lacking, this created a marketplace infrastructure to have that connection and conversation around art.
Nicole, do you want to close this panel with your point of view?
Yeah, I mean, I think like everyone really covered a lot of points. For me as an artist, like it is really awesome being able to just, have like that direct relationship where I'm just like putting my stuff out. Like I'm someone who has exhibited my work, and like because my work is so digital, like even I've done like, augmented reality exhibitions, I have done virtual reality exhibitions, and like I haven't really had a way to sell these things, and like I've shown like internationally, and now I can, and it feels like finally I'm able to like, I don't want to say like get what's owed to me, but like, you know, be able to feel like compensated for like the amount of time and struggle that I've put into like literally producing work, because I just feel like it's so important. And finally being able to, yeah, like have a way to sell that's like backed by something. Because before, like, collectors didn't want to like buy an experience or like a digital works. It's like, oh well, it's just on like a USB drive, like what if someone gets this, you know? It was always that idea. So it's really hard to sell at traditional galleries, and now I can sell my work and it feels so like freeing and awesome.
That's amazing, and it's completely similar to what our vision of bringing freedom through cryptocurrency to all of users and to all the world does. But because in this case, we're bringing freedom to a lot of artists that are around there that have amazing abilities, and they work hard improving their skills every day. But in reality, not everyone has the tools around to profit from their art, or they need connections, they need to live in cities that are more open mind, for example. But here with NFTs, there are too many opportunities, and which is what we are talking about. And now I would like to ask you, as an artist, how they can benefit from the trend of NFTs. And also talking about benefits, how they can find places to exhibit that art as NFT artists.
I can keep going since like I kind of already started answering this a little bit. Like, I think what's really cool right now is like all these digital spaces are popping up to like show your like work. And I think that's really awesome. And I'm just starting to explore that, like literal, like kind of like VR spaces, like with like, you know, virtual walls to like put your art up on. And I think that's really cool. Like, I started getting a little bit into like crypto voxels, although I haven't had much time to explore that much because I've been working on an exhibition that is actually going to be a physical exhibition in Germany that's opening at the end of the month. But yeah, just thinking of ways to like even also show that exhibition like virtually is so cool. Like, yeah, all these opportunities are popping up and it's just so exciting.
So from my side, I think Decentraland, Crypto Voxel, and also Museum of Crypto Art, you guys did an amazing job, so bringing people all together online, and also especially in this pandemic time. From my side, I was still more focused on building the relation with the traditional institution museum. So when we talking about like crypto massive adoption, still in this world, there's a story need to be told about crypto, about the freedom, about our technology tech stack. So by doing that, I hope to bring this real connection and also the connectivity to the real life people who does not know about crypto, go into the museum and to learn about the art and also interact with the art. Yeah.
I'm happy to add, you know, the beauty of this system is that there's no permission necessary, right? So if you are an NFT artist or you are an artist anywhere in the world, you have the ability to come to the marketplace and for, you know, not too expensive, be able to share your creativity and your vision, right? And then, you know, from there, once you've kind of introduced your work, I'd say begin to build, you know, relationships with collectors that you might respect, you know, people that are doing the secondary level of the showcasing. Find a world that kind of speaks to your aesthetic and your values around accessibility and how you want to see your work presented and shown, and really work with collectors who are taking that next step and not just sending these to, you know, a cold storage wallet, but are looking to build experiences in the metaverse. And I think that's how you know, NFT artists can begin to build the bridge to get their work seen and shown and uplifted.
I think it's a really good point about building the relationships. I mean, just, you know, of course, given that I'm on the collector side, I bought one piece from this artist in the Philippines called May Inc., MEI Inc., and just thought it was beautiful. And I was talking about it in BSC Gyms in the Telegram group, and it turns out that someone there personally knows the artist, and so they said, "Oh, this is fantastic." And so they put another one up on a bakery swap where I usually buy from. And so I bought another one. And then they private messaged me and they said, "Hey, there's tons of these things. We're trying to get into the space. Do you like any of this other stuff?" And I loved a lot of it. And so I bought like 8 pieces. You know, but like had they not sort of reached out and said, "Oh, this person clearly likes my stuff," maybe there's an opportunity there to sell more. I wouldn't have ever seen more probably. And then after that, what I do, I called the gallery in the Philippines, where some of the physical work is actually at, and I talked to them. I said, hey, can I get some of that shipped over? I'd like to actually purchase some of the physical art. And so the relationship building there, I think, is exceptionally important for her.
Pretty clear. Just to see, so we've spoken about the benefit to go to artists from artists to go to NFT, and Nicole, you're one of the best example of it, and that's brilliant that we have you here. What about like when you are like an artist and you do not do digital work? How can you use the NFT inside your work? How can you like use NFT scenario? What do you think will be the NFT penetration inside the zone?
Do you mean from like if you're like I don't know, like doing a different career or something? Like, is that
Yeah,
what you mean?
they could be different way to imagine it. It could be like I'm still doing painting or physical arts. I can use NFT as a completion? It could be also questions that we have inside the channel. And one which is interesting is that an outdoor photographer that used to do his picture, but what could he do else with it? How could he value his work with it? I try to gather like all the questions a little bit all together. But for you, like when you are like in a classical art, how do you do the shift? How do you integrate NFT inside your strategy? What would be your first tips from those kind of artists?
Yeah, I mean, I was like just looking at Krista's work, who was speaking earlier, and I really liked how she has like the plexiglass like prints and stuff like that. And I think her work's a really great example of like kind of like bridging that gap, like kind of like taking this more traditional thing. And I looked at her Mars house and saw that she kind of like translated that into 3D. And I think, thinking of ways you can kind of maybe translate your work or show your work in 3D, or use NFTs as a medium for your work. Like, I don't remember exactly what painting this was. It was like a painting, like a classic painting. God, I'm like blanking, but like basically this artist, this was like when NFTs started like really blowing up. They took like pieces of the painting and sold each one as an NFT, and like some of them didn't sell. And so like the final piece was just like every square that actually sold of the painting. And I thought that was really cool. So I think thinking of ways that you can use NFTs as a medium is really important, and thinking about ways that you can really integrate yourself into the digital space, because it is a little bit hard to find success in this space if you're not thinking about the medium at least a little bit.
That is amazing. Thank you for your answers. Also, there are another questions right here. Let me check. One of them says, "I'm not an artist, but how do I?" And I don't do digital works, but can I use NFTs in my work?
Yeah, I mean, they're not an artist, but they want to figure out. And an NFT can be anything, right? If you have a digital file, an NFT can be anything. We've seen companies from like Charmin to Taco Bell create NFTs and mint NFTs. There's 1,000 use cases for any digital object. If you have an iPhone, you can be an artist in this space. It doesn't particularly mean you will do well, but you have to figure out, what is the purpose and what is the value to you in participating in this ecosystem and economy, with the idea that everything that is minted is permanent and immutable and will stand the test of time against your wallet address as your identity.
Yeah, you don't really have to be an artist to utilize NFTs. I think that's like kind of that's sort of the misunderstandings people have. I totally agree. I mean, there are a lot of crypto projects, and there are just regular projects like Charmin, like you were saying, that they're using these. On the crypto project side, like if you just look on the Binance Smart Chain, because we're talking about, we're in the Binance world right now. On the Binance Smart Chain, projects like Narwhal Swap last year, they were coming up with really creative ways to limit whales from being able to control like the coins, and they're using essentially NFTs to be able to do this sort of thing. So you could like boost your earnings or do things like that. There's one called Safer Moon, which I have friends dealing with, that's doing some really innovative stuff on the utility side of NFTs as well. And this is like technology. And then of course you have music, right? There are bands like, I think Kings of Leon did did a CD that they came out with. It was an NFT, and if you paid a certain amount or you did certain things, you get special access for that. Maybe you get to meet them, or you get to go VIP if they go to a concert, things like that. And this is all part of, it's provably yours because you're the one who owns the NFT, which also means you could sell the NFT to someone else. It'll be provably theirs. And there will be a track of who it came from, because it's on the blockchain. It'll start from somewhere and it will go and go and go. And you can see who's owned this thing throughout time and how they used it or have they used it, etc. So NFTs aren't just art. I mean, I think that art is like where it shines for sure right now, but it's not just that. Essentially NFT is a code of instructions, and that code of instructions could be a link to a picture, or it could be a contract that actually executes something.
Yeah, totally. And NFT, it's a non-fungible token. So if we go into the technical definition of it, basically it's just a unique object. So it can represent a unique moment or a unicity or a proof of certification, etc. So there could be many ways to integrate NFT technological aspect into some workflow, classical in real life, but not only art. It could be also object inside video game. We saw those objects creating right now. Here is it. Marie-André, do you have a new question that you want to ask?
Okay, let me check right here. I think this one is important because there are too many different thoughts about it, but this one says, is it true that with NFTs I can earn royalties forever on the sale of my NFT?
The answer is yes and no, right? The yes is that, artists fought for a very long time to have a 10% secondary royalty mechanism inserted into the smart contracts of the earliest marketplaces, right? And it's always been kind of held as a gold standard that this should be the right of creators that are entering this space. But that doesn't mean that there aren't, a myriad of ways for people to bypass this. Something as simple as, an OTC transaction where a collector could send the asset to, the new collector in return for a payment directly. This would, go around the smart contract that is kind of ensuring that right. So it really is kind of up to the community to define and call out people that they think are acting in poor faith. And as an artist, align yourself with a collector that will continue to honor the obligation that contract entails.
Thank you.
I hear about one platform when you're going to be able to earn the royalty forever, which is going to come soon.
And David, also one of the questions that we have here on the panel looks like one of the questions that someone from our audience has. So the question that we prepared was, do you recommend doing multiple editions or just single editions? And right here, Pinar is asking us how you will ensure that art is unique and not against copyrights.
I have a very interesting point to make here. So I think when the NFT thing become more popular, we need some other technology to come forward to protect this, or even to become the IP right lawyer, the police. So like the artificial intelligence. So I would say if like Google, they already have such technology. If you detect like two images, if they have 80% of the similarity, that could be lead to some certain conclusion. Then when we come to the artists, we need to encourage them to put everything on chain. So then we can trace back to the timestamp, and then also on the legal side. So the new regulation or the industry standard could use this opportunity to set up a new regulation somehow. So we also see many artists they transform from the generative artist into NFT artists. So take an example, like 2018, Chrissy's first sold AI artist, Robbie Barron. So sorry. And so that's the first AI artwork is the creator is stealing Robbie's source code on GitHub, and then Robbie now is an NFT artist, so which can secure his digital code right. So by that, I'm going to say we're in this very interesting historical moment to make some new laws around the digital country, the sovereign rights.
Yeah, and I mean, the great irony there is that Robbie Barrett borrowed that code from another artist, so we're like we are moving more and more towards an open source world, right? And just in the same way that we see all sorts of forks of different chains, we're going to see artists continuing to push the limits of fair use and appropriation, right? It was Emily Ratajkowski that just announced she was reappropriating, the Richard Prince picture of her that he sold for millions and making it as an NFT. And then, art critic Kenny Schachter comes along and takes that image from her and reappropriates the reappropriation. I mean, this is kind of at the core of crypto art. And how do you ensure what is unique? It may not be very, very difficult. In a digital age, in an open source society, very difficult.
Yes, my opinion is that copyrights are really something that is complicated. I have a father that was on photography side, so I could testify about that. Copyrights are not the same in every state. First, so basically everything is not on the same level about this, and so all this rule will begin. But first, in order to ensure that those copyrights are unique, I think that's where the credibility of the artist will be something to challenge on. To know about this emission inside NFT and the traceability of the blockchain technology, which here will be put on the challenge, and you're going to be able to trace that this NFT has been created by this creator. This is the original one, and so you can buy this one because you know about this art piece that has been documented, etc., on newspaper, etc. Actually, so I think it's going to follow this flow. I have a question for you, Colborne, about this. Is that, but the type of emission of NFT? There is some NFTs that are unique. There is some NFTs that are reproduced in 10, 20, 100, or even like a lot of exemplars. From a museum point of view, a collector's point of view, Ogle as well is valid. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the unique one, the multiple one? What is the liquidity involved there, and the difference between the two? I think those are concepts that are interesting.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the decision comes down to the artist, right? It's how that, me personally, I collect generally one of one. But, artists have different communities and they have different ways they want to express, and providing multiple access points for different members within their community who may not be able to afford a one of one, but maybe they could afford a one of 100, and they still feel that, relationship and connection to the artwork and the artist. I think that's incredibly important.
I actually think you can do both. I mean, if you think about, like, you have like a painting in real life, right? And that's the original. And then you have prints, right? And so why not have an edition that's like the like original edition, and then you have a separate, there's 100 of that come out, and you'll be able to see what those came out of. This is 99 out of 100 of the like print edition, and then someone has like the OG that the person, that the artist actually did digitally or whatever.
Yeah, and Nicole, you told us about a great example, which was like an art piece that we divide into multiple pieces, and each and every one has a part of it. It's interesting to see that non-fungible token doesn't mean that it's only one. You can take an art piece and divide it, thanks to NFT, in order that each and every one feel they own the art creation in a way. I think I asked all my questions on my side. Marianne, do you have any other?
No, I also think that we cover everything, and also with the questions that we had were similar to the ones that we had on the audience. So we hope that we really help you, and that if you are looking for starting a new career on NFTs, if you're an artist that is looking for new tools to improve what you're doing right now, I really hope that all the information shared here is valuable for you, and that you join the community and start showing the world all the potential that you have.
Yeah, totally. And thank you all, guys, because I think we covered all the world and everyone was living into a different place. Right now we have Shanghai, New York City, France, Venezuela, everywhere is located. So I really want to thank you all to have participated for the NFT Tuesday. I see Africa in the comment as well on the chat. So everyone, thank you all for this NFT Tuesday. Next week, we're going to speak about NFT for developer. We're going to go more into the technical side of NFT. We're going to speak more about different use cases. It's going to be less art, more tech. So please stay tuned and see you everywhere and see you next Tuesday.
That's right. And also remember to be registered at Eventbrite to participate in all the giveaways and earn all the prizes that we are sharing with you on these events. Thank you to everyone who was also interacting with the hashtag on Twitter, and to all the people that sent us questions, and to our amazing guests.
Ogle, Kinwen, Colborne, Nicole, I really want to thank you. Do you have any last point to say about NFT and what they change about you? Do you have any one last statement to express about it?
I just want to say thank you guys for having me. And thanks, Ogle, for also asking me to be on this. And if you guys want to check out my work, I'm on Foundation, mostly for NFTs. Sold some stuff on Zora too, but mainly on Foundation. I have an auction live right now that has like, I don't know, maybe like 18 hours left or something. Really exciting. And I'll be putting more stuff out, and keep an eye for my exhibition that's coming out at the end of the month. I'm going to be making NFTs of that too.
You please be sure to send us a ping when it's released. We're going to come there.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to the auction right now.
Thank you guys.
From my side, I'll just say, well, first off, I just want to plug BSC Gems here, my group on Telegram. But I'm a marketer at heart. But secondly, I just want to say that maybe for like the collector side, maybe just like it might seem like kind of stupid at first, and I totally understand that. But get into it and like actually give it 15 minutes of your time, give it another hour of your time. I can say that before I discovered NFT art, I had bought in my life maybe 6 pieces of actual art. And it's not for want of enjoyment, because I do actually enjoy it quite a lot, despite having the inability to draw a square. But I really like to look at it. But prior to the digital stuff, you know, I bought maybe 6 pieces of art. And post discovering the digital stuff, I found myself, you know, like with a voracious appetite to find really good stuff, really interesting artists with good stories behind their work a lot of time. And frankly, a lot of the Binance NFTs, I've been trying to collect those, and some of you guys at Binance have helped, and I appreciate that. But so I mean, there's a component that feels like collecting baseball cards in some ways, and there's a component of it that feels like you know, you're actually being exposed to really interesting, cool art that might open your mind and make you think about something. And so for the collectors that actually do like traditional art, give this a try too.
So from my side, I hope to connect with you guys more from the Asia side. So I also say we have a 6 months gap from what's happening in the West and also what's happening now in Asia and China in this NFT art market. So definitely let's connect on Twitter or in email. And also a big thank you to Binance team for hosting us.
Yeah, that's it. Big thank you to everybody. Lots of love. Thank you to the panelists and Binance for having us all.
Thank you all. We're going to finish on that. And really, thank you. See you next Tuesday for NFT for Developers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.